In this video, I'm going to show you how I created this energy drink commercial. I've added timestamps in the description down below so you can more easily follow along. Before we jump into it, don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram. I'm more active over there, so yeah. Without further ado, let's begin. First up, we need to find an image on an energy drink can. This image will both serve as a reference when you're modeling and also a texture when you're shading. Back in Blender, we import the image as a reference, and I lowered the opacity so you can more easily see what you're doing. Then I imported a cylinder and dragged it into the shape of the can. Then I extruded all the pieces for the top and bottom of the can. Don't forget to bevel all the edges. This will add more realism to the model. I decided to ignore the details on top because we will only see the front of the can in the final shot. Then I just applied Shade Smooth, and to solve the artifacts on top I went into the normals and checked in Auto Smooth. In the shading tab I created a new material and I used the node wrangler to assign the image. Then I jumped into the UV editor. And here I use the method project from view because we'll only see the front of the can. Now grab it and scale it up so it fits the image texture. Alright, looks good. For the top and the bottom of the can, I just assigned a simple metal shading. To create the background, I imported a plane and extruded the ground face, and for the edge I just bevel it down. And then apply Shade Smooth. I began by adding a point light behind the can to light up the background, but later on I changed it to a spotlight. Then I just copy and pasted different spotlights around the can to illuminate it and also separate it from the background. And these will act as rim lights. This will give a sort of a halo effect around the can. Next step was to add the condensation on the surface of the can. I added a particle system and then changed it to a hair particle system. Under the render section I switched the source from path to an object. Then I increased the amount of particles to fit the look that I was after. To create the water drops, I just used a subdivision surface modifier onto a sphere and then dragged out and extruded the top parts to create the trail of the water drop. Then I created a duplicate of the can and rotated it into place. I also added some text to the right side of the cans just to see how the end result would look, but I will do all the text in DaVinci Resolve. I forgot to record how I created the background texture, so here's an image on the node tree for the shading. During the animation part, I added some simple rotation in the Z-LED for the cans, and for the camera I used a really simple trick. First you add a circle, then you scale it into the right shape and parent the camera to the circle. So when you rotate the circle, you get this perfect rotating motion around the object. I also decided to parent the background to the camera motion. By doing so, you keep the background in frame while you get this nice rotation for the cans. Throughout the animation, I also added some keyframes for the background texture. This gave this wavy and organic animation behind the cans. In DaVinci Resolve, I imported the different layers, first the can layer, and then also the background layer, and merged them together. For the color grade, I did some simple color boosts, and a nice and neat trick is to isolate the white parts of the can. And then you just decrease the saturation, and by doing so you get this perfect nice white color. Then I switched to the Fusion tab, and here I just added a highlight node. This gives the cans this sparkly and glowy feel. Last step is to animate the text. I added different nodes for each of the texts, and then I just did some simple animation at the X LED. Super important, don't forget to add the motion blur. And we're done. Don't forget to subscribe and also follow me on Instagram. As always, I upload every Friday, so see you soon.